for now is fine. Yeah. Great Abdul Ibrahim, his latest record. He's like
so you're
pretty something years. Yeah, I'm just playing. So it's coming through.
Let me text Richard just to, in case he can't pick up. They're probably too late. Jeff, these will live somewhere where people can watch replays.
Yeah, there'll be a podcast also. Yeah, it'll be available.
And like, so if on this one we get a bunch of people saying like, either should I take are we?
Or you can let me know. Yeah, I mean, I've got it in a totally different place.
Yeah, I think that will help, hopefully. And I, obviously, like, Facebook with Instagram. So it sounded, to me, it sounded good in the room while you guys.
I thought so too. Yeah. Yeah. We're rolling, right? Okay, great. Hey, folks, we'll be with you in a couple of minutes, and thanks for tuning in. We appreciate it. You're listening to the sounds of Abdullah Ibrahim right now. If you're not familiar with Abdullah Ibrahim, check him out. Beautiful South African pianist. Used to go by the moniker of Dollar Brand, but he's Abdullah Ibrahim now. This is his latest record called The Balance, and hope you're enjoying it. See you in a minute.
My purpose in not to start with Rick Jazz is just to show people this tradition and just I want to get you guys to let people in on what we're doing and play these tunes and we'll apply it somewhere else. Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
Hey, so Roy, in the middle section, when you come out, do you need me to initiate anything, or do you do it? Okay. If you want to use that light too, can you move it? You're welcome to. Go do it, yeah.
Well, I'll make a little silhouette.
Yes. Huh. Go on now. Play more. We'll shut the AC down. We're okay, a little incense. I'm not sure who's playing on this one. South African guy. You know this bump tune, Skippy? Oh. You all set, Alex? You all set? Are you all set?
Okay.
Oh, okay. All right, hey everybody, how's it going? We want to welcome you to iTA Studio Streams. And this is our second live stream that we're doing from my studio here in Nashville, Tennessee. And we have a great show for you tonight. Incredible musicians. He's a 6-time Grammy winner from Bela Fleck and the Flecktones. 5 times. Well, it's going to be a 6th one down the road anyway.
Future tense.
This is the future tense, which makes sense since we have the Futureman, Futureman Wooten, back here on the drums, leading the charge tonight.
All right.
Doing some original music, and he's going to get into some really interesting things dealing with sacred geometry, the phi ratio, pi, Fibonacci sequence, and how he's exploring those things through music. And so hold on to your seats on that one. And we also have Dane Bryant over here on the keyboards.
Yes.
And Dane's been in town for many, many years in Nashville. Tours a lot around the country. I've known Dane for almost 30 years. It's crazy. Yeah. Yeah, we haven't changed a bit. And great bass player back here, Jimmy Sullivan on the bass. And he's another stalwart here in Nashville. And so we want to let you know also that these concerts, we're trying to gather donations for cats that are out of work, which is everybody. And so there's a Venmo and a PayPal link that you can check out on the Facebook live stream. You can also go to itastudiostreams.com, and there's a donation button there. And every week, all the money that's generated from the 3 concerts we do, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, all that money will be split between the artists equally online that have played. Let's see, tomorrow night, Saturday night at 7 p.m. Central Time, we have the great Chris Walters playing solo. He's going to be playing some keyboards. He's going to be singing. And he's also got some kind of holographic video. I don't know what this thing is, but Chris is always up to no good. So I'm sure tomorrow night he'll be up to particularly no good in his own very special way. I can't think of anything else right now. Just to let you know about the website, itastudiostreams.com. And we hope you'll check it out. We hope you let people know about this. It's very grassroots. We're just trying to make it happen, trying to help some folks out. We hope everybody's staying safe and healthy out there. And we're sending you a lot of love from Nashville, Tennessee. And on with the show. Peace.
1, 2, 1, 2. You know what to do.
Okay, so I'm going to invite Futureman up here to talk a little bit about what he's doing.
Yes.
So
yes.
you have, ever since I've known you, which is many, many years now, you've always been kind of exploring a lot of different kinds of music.
Definitely.
A lot of different philosophies, a lot of different ideas. You're kind of an idea guy.
It's a journey.
You've invented instruments also.
Yeah.
You've invented instruments to kind of deal with sacred geometry also. I know that we've talked about that over the years, and it's a fascinating discourse. So some of the music you're going to be playing tonight is also realizing pi and the Fibonacci sequence and the phi ratio into music. And so I'm interested if you could maybe just, most people know some of this stuff already, but if you could just briefly describe what is pi.
Yeah, okay.
Not the dessert.
Even as we get into pi is why. Okay? And the why, a lot of it is that the arts, music and that kind of thing, I think is an integral part of the STEM programs where we're talking about science, technology, engineering, mathematics. When we plug the arts into it, it turns into a type of STEAM, right? And so every great society has great art. So I'm looking at it all like art. Okay?
More of a holistic approach.
Yes, yes, because the numbers express themselves beautifully. It's like, we watch a digital TV, but who's counting? Right? We got to have some good programs on there. We got to have some art on there for us to pay attention to all of that technology. So when you talk about what pi is deep, man, because this has to do with the circle, and it has to do with the line going through the circle, and the distance between that circle. If you open that circle up and you open the line up, they don't equal, and the relationship between that line and the circle, it's the whole mystery of the circle that these numbers pi is dealing with. My thing is, as an artist, I just wanted to deal with it like art. And I said, what if, like, numbers was working like a code, right? And the reason why I wanted these guys to start up, and I wanted these jazz musicians and Dane, because we're working on this stuff, is because jazz musicians are working with numbers. It's really digital when they're looking at chord changes. So we just played a nice jazz tune, and when they're looking at their charts, they're looking at numbers, you know? They're looking at numbers and chord changes. So I said, what if we looked at pi the same way? That pi was giving us like a chord chart. What if we approached it like that?
So let's start with 3.14.
Yes.
So 3 being the third of a particular key.
Right. So if we're in the key of C, the way we're going to look at the numbers is like artists right now. So I'm going to make all of you artists. So there's not 50 numbers. There's only 9. Right? We can count to 1 billion or 1 trillion, but we're only using 9 numbers. So we're going to look at the nine numbers like this.
I have a question about 0 after you're done also.
Yes.
Because I know you're going to get into that.
Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. That's another way of looking at 1 through 8. As 1 is do. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do. And then re, mi, fa, sol, la. Right? So 1, do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do are octaves. Do, re, and 9 are octaves. Do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, re. Now watch this, right? So pi, if we look at pi like that, now it's like, it's a do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti map if we want to. So it goes like this. Do, re, mi, that's 3. Do, re, mi. And then do, pi goes 1, 4, 1, 5. That's the opening theme of pi. So 1, 4, 1, 5 would be do. 4 is fa. Do, re, mi, fa. So do, fa. Then it goes 1, 5. Do, re, mi, fa, so. So the opening theme is like do, fa, do, so. Like tempo.
Dramatic. Yeah.
Yeah, it's epic. It's epic, right? And so if just to make it fast, the opening theme goes 1, 4, 1, 5, 9, 2, 6, 5, 3, 5, 8, 9, 7, 9, 3, 2. Right? Now ask me about the 0.
What's the 0?
And the 0, what do?
We rest.
We don't play nothing on the zeros, right? So watch, we get ready to play pi, right? And we're looking at pi as chord change, as a chord chart, right? And
so pi is a non-repeating number.
Yeah, it's a quote irrational number.
Rational,
just like
non-repeating
people,
number.
Irrational.
Right.
It's a natural principle.
So in this piece, you've taken the numbers of pi, and you've given them note values.
Who's got the chart?
Right.
Dane.
Which chart?
Professor Dane. Just we want to look at the numbers of pi.
So you've taken those and you've given them
Yeah, here it is, right here.
Okay, so you're taking these and you're
That's
playing these rhythms. You're playing them in random rhythms.
Right. So watch this. What we're getting ready to play, we're actually using it in 3/4. So it's gonna start with the 3, 1.
Ah, you're doing it like a waltz.
1. Boom, boom, boom,
Gotcha,
right?
okay.
And because I got jazz musicians here, then they're gonna solo over it.
Gotcha.
Right? So
Gotcha.
basically we're taking the numbers, man, and we're making it not like Spock, more like Captain Kirk. It's romanticizing intelligence. Okay?
Gotcha.
Right?
All right.
So now if I didn't
right.
tell you what this is, it's just gonna sound like a jazz chart. Right? My people out there, right?
Right.
Does that make sense, Jeff?
It does.
Okay, so when we get to the 0, we'll do,
Rest.
boom,
Okay.
right.
So let me ask you this: are you using the different modes?
Yes.
So, for example, in the key of C, are you using the different modes to realize the different chords? Okay, so here's the chord chart.
Giving away our secrets here.
Part of our
Bring it up
formula-
closer.
Okay. Part of our formula for this is
Dane Bryant.
hello. Part of our formula that again with a waltz, we have 3 beats with the first chord, which is going to be E in key of C. But we alternate minor to major, minor, major, and then of course anything you want to put in between.
Gotcha.
And so that people are not lost right at the beginning. The reason that's an E, because in the key of C, it goes C, D, E,
Right.
it's 3.
It's the 3.
F, G, so when you see
So
an
3,
E, that's 3.
1,
1,
4,
4,
1,
1,
5,
5,
2,
9,
yeah,
2,
2 or 9, right?
yeah,
Yeah.
6,
Sorry,
but
9,
following pi,
Right.
it's a 9
Yep,
and then a 2.
9 and then a 2,
Does
yeah.
that make sense?
Yep, perfectly.
Right, so we're just making it a really fun musical journey and seeing what we can hear out of something that they call irrational. Art probably is irrational. Poetry can be irrational.
Yeah.
You know, if we're trying to count
Great.
the syllables, yeah.
All right, and so are you using the Fibonacci sequence in this also?
Not in this particular one.
But I know that you are doing that musically and
Yes,
some other things.
yes. There's a project that I did with Dane Bryant. I just put out 2 new soundtracks that I worked on with Dane. Yep. And in that, we blend all this. We don't have time to get in all of that now. But Fibonacci, right? If we take Fibonacci with the same principle, right? Fibonacci is 1, 1 makes 2. 2 and 1 makes 3. 3 and 2 makes 5. So those are intervals. 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8. Right?
7.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes a
5,
beautiful
8, right, and then 13.
4.
It's
3 and 1 is
3 and 1 is
4.
4, so
Right,
on and so
reducing
forth.
down. And it's a 24 number repeating cycle.
Yeah.
And that is the theme in this Pi Alpha Human piece that's on this recording that you can get.
I warned you
links.
all. I warned you. We're
Okay.
going down the rabbit hole.
But it's beautiful. You know what I mean?
It
Like,
is
if I didn't
beautiful.
tell you the theory, you just hear, like,
Right.
these
Right.
sequences.
and it's an ostinato. So basically, the
Yeah.
Fibonacci is an ostinato with glockenspiel doing it, just repeating those 24 notes.
Okay.
And then underneath that, we took the same concept of pi.
Yes.
Underneath that, within the same key, for chamber orchestra, basically, and underneath that. So, but it's beautiful because it all interlaces.
Well, let's hear it.
Right, and then what I was going to say when I was with Dane, when I hear Danny Elfman, these composers I like, when they get this do, and I wanted to do, and ease up pi, like a SOS code. You know what I mean? Like, we're showing that there's intelligence here.
All right.
You know what I mean? It's not just a song, but there's intelligence.
I think
in
there's
these
no
humans.
doubt about that.
All right. So
Yeah.
anyway, check it out. Pi as a song line.
All right.
Like the Aborigines make
Like a pie line.
Like a pie song line.
Uh-huh.
Yes,
All right.
okay.
All right, here we go.
All right. Let's see what we can do with this. Let's see what we can
Can I
do
say
with
this? We're going down the pie hole.
Oh.
See what you did there?
Oh.
Any way you slice it, it's good.
Here we go. I got it. Let's see what we can do with this. All right. Now watch this, and just pretend I didn't say anything, right? Now you just got a little bit behind the scenes, right? But we're just gonna play it. Just watch and see if you feel something from an artistic thing, not the Spock side, but the Kirk side. Captain Kirk. All right?
With
Ready?
100 numbers.
Yeah, we're gonna go through 100 chord changes of pi.
All right.
Ready?
Do your
Yep.
thing.
I'm gonna try to catch these zeros nice. Okay? A 2. A 1, 2, 3, pi. Here we go.
So I have a question. Could you do that one more time so people can hear the difference, like when you do it twice in a row, to hear the difference in how you guys are going to play?
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, that's the spirit of jazz.
We're going to turn the bass up just a little bit. Also, we had a request for that.
Yeah.
But so I'm just interested to hear the differences this time when you guys go through it as to that time, so people can get a perspective.
And what's so cool about this is I think that in the spirit of classical music, like what was it like to hear Beethoven do his piano concertos night after night? Because there was an improvisational nature in it. And jazz is a music that has picked up that torch where every time there's something fresh going on. So,
Great. Okay.
All right.
Here it is again.
You guys want the same tempo?
Sure. We have a different approach with it.
Yeah?
Yeah.
2, 1, 2, 3, 4.
Beautiful. Okay, so I'm going to invite Futureman and Dane Bryant to come out here and talk a little bit more about this music. We're going to get into a little bit more about what this is. I think Dane is also going to talk a little bit about the Nashville number system, which is an interesting system that we have here in Nashville for playing tunes in the studio. For those of you that are wondering about this microphone also, my buddy Thomas Mancini over there in Portugal. How you doing, boy? And hope everything's good over there. Hope you guys are staying safe. This is just for the podcast. So we're going through the microphone on the camera. We're kind of working this out as we go along. So thanks for bearing with us. This does become a podcast also within a few days, and we'll keep you guys posted on that. So I'm going to turn this over to Futureman and Dane Bryant for a few minutes to talk about some stuff, and then we're going to close out the session after that. I may have a question or two for them.
Yes.
And then we're going to close out the session after that with a special tune that I may actually have to jump up on and play a little bit. So we hope you guys are having a great time. I love going down the rabbit hole with Futureman. So here we go.
All right. So, Jeff, one of the overarching themes with this whole reason why I'm digging and searching like this is because I believe that art is the pivotal part of a STEM program. When the arts plug into it, the STEM actually becomes something. So we're looking at pi, not like a scientific thesis, right? It's more, well, it is, but we're clothing it in an art. So that's like when I look at that flat screen, if there was no art on that screen, I wouldn't just stand and stare at it all day. You know, there's some type of content, you know, in an artistic way to really draw us in. So with that, for people wondering about that tune, just put out some music that me and Dane did. it's very soundtrack, because when I met Dane, I said, I'm looking to do a soundtrack that's based in the future. I'm trying to write a mythology for the future, and I need to come up with music for that, right? A mythology for the future. A mythology is something you can barely believe. It's like alchemy. Could people really make gold out of lead? You know, were there really giants in the earth in them days? It's like, you can't believe in that stuff, right? Let's go towards the future with that attitude. And so Dane's helping to bring it. So that piece that we just did with pie is called Blueberry Pie. Okay? And you can find it, look on the records that I just got up with me and Dane. Blueberry Pie, there's an instrumental version where he's just playing the chords, and then there's a version where he's soloing through it. It's our first time experience. So anyway, I want to turn it over to Dane because I want to talk about jazz musicians, how they're looking at the numbers and the history of it. There's a history of it that goes back to classical music, correct?
Yes, as far as the number system, it's known as figured bass, I believe it was termed as during the Baroque years, and I know that I truly believe 100% in my heart that Bach was a jazz musician. There's no doubt in my mind because a lot of what he did was improvisational over these changes, and they were in Roman numerals, and that's how figured bass came about. That was the root. Everything's built upon that. So the way that flowed into Nashville was through the background singers, Jordanaires. Came up with a way to a system to where they could sing harmonies based on the number system. And what's beautiful about that, it was out of necessity. By the time when they would have chord changes, when the singer would come in, they may need to change the key, whereas the number system is universal. So it doesn't matter what key you're in, right? Yeah. So that was a matter of necessity for them because it was a time constraint thing. Whereas in a lot of these sessions in New York or LA, they had to have an orchestrator and someone there to rewrite everything if they had to change keys. So in this case, that flowed over into the musicians, and that's been used ever since. Since I think the 50s. I hope I'm right during the time, the history of that, the timeline. So that's what's beautiful about moving over to the pie. Let's see, I've got this wonderful program. Let's see, should I show this to
We'll show it to the people out there.
Am I doing
all
this?
All our rhythm hackers
Make
out
sure I
there
have
and
this,
everybody.
Come a little closer.
Come a little closer, all right.
Okay.
So this beautiful little program, it's something a lot of jazzers here use. It's called iRealBook. It's just a simple way to read chord changes. So what you can do with it is you can change the font, and one of the fonts in here is beautiful. It is it goes to the number system. So you do number notation, and this is what pi looks like. And here it is: 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 2, 2, 6, and so forth. And so what you heard us do the last two times were over these particular changes. Our formula was alternating minor and major. So, and I wrote just a few accidentals in here just for the fun of it. But it's basically 3 minor, 1, 4 minor, 1, 5 minor, and so forth. And we did that for the first 100 number or digits rather of pi, which is infinity. 0 being arrest, of course. And that's kind of where we started with that.
Yeah, very cool, very cool. So I'm just wondering, from a bass player, but just get Jimmy to say something really quick. Can you come up for a second, Jimmy? Because I'm just wondering, like, from a bass player, like, to explain to people who maybe have never, when we say we're looking at these chords, like, what is the bass player's role when we're looking at these numbers? What is your role?
Ideally, I'm trying to spell out the chords. And when I'm walking, obviously, I have 4 notes.
What do you mean by walking?
Walking is playing four notes to a bar. Boom, 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 boom. That's probably the most famous walking bass line. Ideally, I'm trying to spell those changes for you. I'm hanging out on the roots a lot, but I know the chords. I know the root, the third, the fifth, the seventh, the ninth, and I'm trying to spell it out as quick as I can to let everyone know. Ideally, you should be able to mute everything and just hear the bass and know what the chords are.
Right. So I think, in essence, it's almost like you're using the chords as your framework.
Yes, sir.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. Great. I just wanted people to get a sense of that, and then everyone's building on that framework. And when we're in pi, we're in 3/4, so you're kind of walking 3 towards every bar. Yes.
Hey, we're going to try real quick. We've got some static coming through, so I'm going to try to pull this mic out and see if that happens. still without the external mic. So hang with us 1 second.
Okay, great. And then we're gonna see if we can play. See if we can get Jeff again.
Is
Testing 1, 2.
let us know if that's better. If you're still getting static coming through, we're not sure why that static would be. Checking. See, this is the fun part. This is live. That's why they call it a live stream.
Uh-huh.
How are people hearing out there? Is that better, worse?
We got a nice.
We got a nice, okay.
Done. We got a done. Okay.
Done.
We got a done. All right, we're going to go with that.
Okay.
All right, here we go.
All right, so we're gonna get ready to kind of see if we can play another tune, but I just want to
Your
say
brother
that,
Reggie's watching, by the way.
my brother Reg. Hey, shout out to Reg. Shout out to all of my rhythm hackers out there from the group. And I'd like to let people know I have a rhythm hackers group where we're just delving in all things rhythm and how rhythm is the mythology of music, and we're diving in. And it's in there that I'll probably be following up with Dane on the music that we've just released. The release, one of them is called Hope Us.
Hopeless, I like
Right? And it rhymes with opus, like in classical music. That's what I was calling it first. I said, Dane, I need these movements. And we created a movement. I said, that's opus 1. And then I started calling it Hopus because it was like, wow, the story is in the future, mythology in the future where humanity is faced with great challenges like we are now.
Sure.
Right? And what are we going to do with hope? Us. Right? And the next one is Pi Alpha Human. Right?
Nice.
Everybody looks human, but everybody might not be human.
Certainly possible.
And what happens when humans might not be on the top of the food
Uh-huh.
chain? What does that look like in the future? And where does music come into play? And so I got Dane to help me like this. Let's look at the soundtrack. Let's use Fibonacci like a SOS code. Like we're sending it out there to let them know there's intelligence out there. Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home. Let me help me, that kind of
All
thing.
right.
Mythology.
Yeah.
It's supposed to be unbelievable. Okay.
All right. So while you were talking, I came up with a couple of questions that I'd like to ask
Yes.
of you. First one is, where did your love for sacred geometry and numbers and this kind of stuff come from? And how was it fostered? I know that your family is deep into a lot of really very interesting stuff. The Wooten brothers, Victor Wooten, Reggie, Joe, Rudy, who passed a few years back, who's a brilliant saxophone player. And so you guys have always been into some really different kind of stuff. And so I'm wondering, where did your personal love of sacred geometry and that kind of thing come from?
Well, I used to read the Tower of Jeet Kune Do by Bruce Lee. And Bruce Lee made this statement, whatever you're interested in, you should go ahead and dive into it. And this was interesting because this is a time where we sort of grow up in an age of specialization. If you're just going to be a musician, just be that. If you're going to be this, be that. But when I would look back and through that, I started seeing how Leonardo da Vinci and these great artists wanted to see the whole picture. And so that just, it gave me permission to lean into what I was interested in. So through Bruce Lee and then learning these different philosophies, listening to people with sacred geometry, wondering about the flowers and the plants, and music itself. You start getting into music, right? You see Coltrane's diagrams. This dude he's drawing sacred geometry, man. It's like, right? And you just start seeing the beauty of how reality is speaking to us, but not in the straight language that you're expecting. Reality is speaking to us a lot of time in its own poetry, right? And if we can understand the poetry and the flowetry of it, then we can sort of like, it starts to lift you almost. So it's like music is actually leading this journey.
Yeah. Well, your passion for it is infectious. We've done a lot of clinics together. Obviously, we're on the road together with the Flecktones for many, many years, 14 years together. And through our conversations also, when I got into macro photography, I started seeing a lot of the things that you were talking about and expressions of the phi and the Fibonacci and the pi ratio in the flowers, in nature. And so it's a fascinating journey.
Yeah, because like, for example, when you talk about photography, if you take a piece of paper, right, everybody learns in photography the rule of thirds. You got 1, and then 2, 3. But that's Fibonacci right there. You got 1 section, then you got 2 sections. Fibonacci is always a short section next to a longer section.
So the ratio of A to B is the same as?
A, B, and then you add them together.
And that's the ratio of that to C.
Right. So 1 plus 2 equals 3.
Gotcha.
Right? 1 section plus 2 sections, the whole thing equals 3.
Uh-huh.
Right? But the key is the section that is dividing it is always a short section next to a long section.
Interesting.
And the short section is, here it is right here on the finger. But you got to think of the cross. Think of a vampire movie. When you hold up a cross, the cross is not in the middle. It's sort of slightly short, long. That is the section that is outlined, and we see it in our bodies everywhere.
Spirals also.
Right, but in music, it's like the triplet. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, short, long, short. So music is adhering to these principles.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying? We're in music. We're actually working our way down the Fibonacci line through music.
Gotcha.
Yeah. So
very interesting.
So I've just been curious, man, and then it's like it speaks back. When it speaks back, whoa! It sort of enhances what we're looking at, what we're dealing with. You
Right.
know?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Great. My other question, question number 2 here. Who is your greatest musical or non-musical hero?
Wow, there's a few of them. You know, I mentioned Leonardo da Vinci, Bruce Lee, man. I just used to like reading his philosophy book, man. I was like, this guy's writing so clear in English, and this is his second language, man. It was just like, whoa.
Yeah.
I like the, what is that? The great philosopher that wrote the Tao Te Ching, Lao Tzu. Miles Davis, from a philosophical, musical standpoint, has always kind of been a big influence. Just the way I always felt like, even this is for the rhythm hackers out there, I always felt like if I would approach rhythm the same way you guys in music, and especially jazz musicians, approach harmony. I mean, they approach harmony like you just wouldn't believe, man. You hear Herbie Hancock talking about Chris Anderson and people like that, and the way they talk about the changes, man. I said, if I thought about music half as much as they thought about the harmony, I think I could make some astounding discoveries. And so that's what it is that you're looking to share some of that in Rhythm Hackers, and just, letting rhythm take you on this journey. And then you start to find out that rhythm is the mother of it. You know what I mean? Rhythm keeps going, and it becomes pitches.
Yeah.
It keeps going, and it becomes all the other stuff. Rhythm keeps going. It's sound down here, but it's light up there. It's gravity over here, gravitational waves. It's like, right. And we start to get into this journey.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like that,
Great. Okay. One last question. Where can people find your music?
Wow, we just released something on Bandcamp. What's my Bandcamp name? Futureman Music, I believe it is. Futuremanmusic.com.
Is there a website?
Yeah, you can also find the music on futuremanlive.com. I have some links posted in my Rhythm Hackers Facebook group.
Okay.
If anybody's into rhythm, wants to take a rhythm journey with us, you can find the links, and I'll be posting them on my own Facebook site. But futuremanlive.com will show you the link to my Bandcamp. The Bandcamp, I believe, is Futureman Music.
Okay.
Yeah.
We'll make sure we link that.
Yeah.
And I want to let you know also that again, we're encouraging donations for these fine musicians. Everybody's out of work, so we're trying live streams, and there should be a Venmo and PayPal link on the Facebook Live banner there, whatever you want to call it, and as well as itastudiostreams.com. You can go in there and donate through PayPal, and all the money that you guys donate goes back to these musicians. I'm not taking anything for this. I'm donating my space. I love having people up here. This is a wonderful group of musicians, great friends of mine. And so tomorrow night we've got the great Chris Walters at 7 o'clock. We're doing this every Thursday, Friday, and Saturday. So we hope you'll tune in. These also turn into podcasts. So keep your eyes and ears open for that. We'll let you know. And we got a little more music, right?
Yeah, we're going to see if we can play one and maybe get you involved in this thing.
All right, I'll see what I can do.
All right?
All right.
So we're just going to keep swinging in the spirit of art. Again, my overriding thing is when you have STEM, we need the arts in there to anchor that thing, to give it some meaning.
Yep.
So we're artists, we're going to make some art.
All right, Roy Futureman Wooten.
Yeah.
Jimmy Sullivan on the bass back there. Dane Bryant on the keyboards. I'm your host, Jeff Coffin, and we're so glad you're here checking this out. And we're going to do a tune that was kind of made famous by Miles Davis, and who I'm actually wearing on my shirt tonight. So I'm going to jump in on this as well. Hope you like it. Very nice. All right, one more time. The Futureman Roy Wooten back there doing who knows what with the Fibonacci sequence and pi and phi and the whole thing. The great Dane Bryant on the bass. And we hope you'll check it out. We hope you'll spread the word. We hope you'll tune in tomorrow night for Chris Walters. Again, donate. There's no amount that's too small. Certainly no amount that's too large. Again, all that money goes to the musicians here who are out of work, without work, just trying to make it happen. So we appreciate you. We love you. And everybody be safe out there. Take your vitamins. Do what you can. Wash your hands. Wishing everybody the best, okay? From Into the Air Studios. Thank you so much. Peace out. Take care. All right.
Thanks, Jeff. Everybody behind the scenes.